Hey guys, I'm just finishing off my unit of warriors, ready for my project to start on Monday. Getting really excited about that. Just a quick follow-up from the video I did recently about magnetising bases. One of the things I realised was that I was often trying to stabilise models by sticking them on the top of paint pots. And I've seen lots of people doing that. And what I was using was blue tack. I'm not sure what that's called anywhere else in the world, but one of the things I realised is because I've got these magnetised bases, all I have to do is stick a coin to the top of a paint pot here on a Games Workshop paint point, and then because I've got the magnetised bases, the unit can just snap on top, and it's very easy to take off and snaps back on when I want it. So that's one of the bonuses, I suppose, of having magnetised bases. It also means you can do those sort of impossible angle paints when you're trying to paint behind a shield, that sort of thing. Anyway, so just finishing off these guys, highlighting them, getting them varnished, which is always a real sense of achievement, I find, when you finally get something varnished and done. I'm going to make a plan for my 30-day projects and then kick that off on Monday. Tomorrow I thought I would do a quick tutorial on painting skeletons. Not really a tutorial because I'm not qualified to teach, but I'll show you the way that I do it, which was a way shown to me by one of the owners of the Games Workshop hobby centre. So it should be fairly easy. There's only a few steps to it, the way I do it, and I'll go through that tomorrow. But just for something to do today, just to stay in the habit of making videos, I thought I'd go through the questions, the 10 questions that Jameson Kane recently asked on his channel. I know his competition is now finished, but just as a sort of practice with the camera and to get you know a bit better, I thought I'd go through those questions. So the first question, number one, is how did you get started in the hobby? As a kid I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I used to spend a lot of time reading the rule books and making characters, that sort of thing, creating adventures and playing it. And eventually I started buying models and painting them to represent the characters, and eventually I preferred that to playing D&D. So I've heard that here before, lots of people are saying that before, and it seems that D&D is a bit of a gateway drug, so there we go, you heard it here first. Gamer, or am I a gamer or a hobbyist? I'd say both, actually. I love playing Warhammer Fantasy. I played mostly the last edition, but I'm getting ready to play a game with the new rules. And I also love playing Mordheim, which, if you haven't played it, is a brilliant game. Small sort of war band, great backstory. Try it if you haven't played it. But also, you know, I love the games, but I also love the painting, and I love the peace. It's a very sort of peaceful, ordered process when you're painting, and I need that. So, what's the first model you assembled and painted? Well, it was a dwarf on a stretcher, some sort of knee injury. Painted it really, really badly, and then I think I glued it to the coffee table by mistake. So that was good. Number 4? What's your favourite paint? This feels a bit like a weird question. I'm not sure I have a favourite paint, but if I'm thinking about paints, I mainly think about the old GW paint line. So I'm thinking about things like Blazing Orange, Tin Bits, Dwarf Flesh, that sort of thing. I've not quite got used to the new paint scheme yet. How do you rate yourself as a painter from 1 to 10? I don't know, about a 3 if I've not had too much coffee and if the light's good and if my hands aren't shaking. Say 3.14. One of my goals as a painter, any techniques you've yet to master? Well, I think all of them really. Well, I've got a project I'm about to start which involves painting a couple of units and a character over 30 days. And that's a goal of a sort. Got that idea from Warboste. But I try and keep goals out of the hobby really, because I have lots of goals in my job, so I want to keep it as a sort of fun activity, fun space. What does your wife, number 7, what does your wife, girlfriend, another half of your think of your hobby? Well, I think generally people who don't participate in the hobby in any way are a bit bemused at a grown man playing with a 3cm plastic toy soldier. But I think ultimately anything that makes me happy they're happy with, if that makes any sense. They see that I get a lot out of it and I enjoy it, so I think ultimately they're okay with it. 8. Have you personally experienced any ridicule for your hobby? I think yes. It's part of the course with any sort of nerdiness, I think. A lot of people don't get it, but that's alright really. I mean, I don't get football, I don't get a lot of things that other people get into, but it's different strokes, right? Different strokes for different folks. Have you ever thought about giving up the hobby? Well, I did actually, for about 5 years. I used to live in Nottingham, which those of you who've been there is the centre of Warhammer in the UK. It has Warhammer World, and I had lots of friends there for painting and gaming. We had a good social circle. We used to paint one night a week. We used to game on Saturday mornings, and it was great. But then I moved away with work, and the hobby slipped, and eventually the paints and the brushes went up into the loft. And sometimes it's hard to keep it going if it's just you. That's a good thing about this YouTube community, I think. Yes or no, is there a cuter wargamer out there than Joey Berry? Now this is definitely a weird question, and I think it's one of those trick questions, isn't it? So I'm going to avoid answering it. Okay, so before I go, there's just 2 things that I've been thinking about when I'm painting. The first one is that sometimes I find that trying to make a model perfect, in my eyes, not proper painters, but in my eyes, is the enemy of fun. So I've quite often ruined my enjoyment of painting by trying to get it perfect. So I need to paint because it's fun. I need to stop trying to create perfect models. Number 2, I love buying models, and quite often I buy more models than I can paint, and that can be a bit depressing sometimes if you've got loads and loads of stuff waiting and it's all undercoated black but you haven't got the time to paint it. So I've got this new system now. Basically it's 1 in, 1 out. So if I finish a unit that's worth 20 quid, then I now have 20 quid to go and buy new models with. Okay, so if I don't paint, I don't buy. And that's the way I'm going to be doing it. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about Monday. In order to try and get some subscribers and get some people sort of involved in the progress and involved in their projects, I'm going to have like a little competition. It's not much of a competition, but basically it's for a bit of scenery, which I have knocking around. So here's the competition prize. It's a piece of scenery from Jarvis. It shows a small part of a trench system. You've got some stuff to paint up here. You've got some cobbles, some large pieces of stone, got some wooden braces and stakes, and you've got some logs around the top of the system. What you have to do to be in a chance of winning this is just become a subscriber to this channel, and I'll announce the winner in 2 weeks. So I'll just pick up a random subscriber in 2 weeks and then send them this. Okay, so good luck. Thanks to everyone who's making videos, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.